Так, 7 человек.
Мгм. Можно начинать, да? Ольга, все, да?
Нет, еще нет.
Ага.
Я скажу. Передаю права.
Мгм.
И можно начинать.
Хорошо, спасибо.
Права.
So, hey there, everyone. Welcome to our free session. My name is Nash Akhtar. I'm a certified IELTS trainer and also a director of an official IELTS testing center. So, before we start, I would like to know if you can hear me. So if you can, please type yes, and then we'll start our session. So, can you guys hear me? So, make sure that your speakers are on, everything is clear. I hope you guys can see me. I also hope that you can see the presentation. It's going to be a very important session. So stay till the end because I'm going to teach you some unknown facts related to IELTS. Okay, wonderful, wonderful. So I would like to speak more about myself because I believe that it's important. So I'm a certified IELTS trainer. I have been preparing students for the past 10 years. Like I said, I'm a director of an official IELTS testing center and also a co-founder of Master IELTS. Throughout my career, I have been involved in preparing students. I have trained many teachers. I have been involved in preparing different materials and so on. And in Eastern Europe, I was involved in opening many exam centers, like testing centers for IELTS. In 2021, we were awarded as one of the best testing centers in Eastern Europe because we made sure to provide the best service, the best comfort, and we even integrated the best technology with a very beautiful interior designing. So whatever I'm going to teach you today would be useful because I would share certain things based on my experience, and also I'm going to help you towards achieving a very high score. So how to prepare effectively. Speaking about our center, we go as Master IELTS online, and we believe that we provide the most effective online courses because we have helped over 8,000 students to achieve their required score in their first attempt. We, in fact, have the most interactive online platform, which helps students to prepare gradually, we guide them step by step towards achieving a very high score. And our aim has always been to help our students to achieve their required score in their first attempt for an affordable price. So that's our main goal. So guys, as you can see, the results of our students, they speak for themselves. Quite often, our students, they achieve band 7.5, 8, 8.5, and even we have students who achieved a band 9 in speaking. So that's why today I'm going to show you guys, what is IELTS. Now, as you can see, we have very good reviews as well. Dr. Riznia, who was from Sri Lanka, now she's in the UK. She prepared with us and she achieved an overall 7.5. Sushant from India prepared with us and achieved a 7.5. We have Hemant from Iran now. He's living in Canada. He took IELTS and he prepared with us and he achieved an overall 8. We have Anna all the way from Russia. Now she and her husband, they are living in Canada. They're prepared with us, and Anna, she achieved a band 8.5 after preparing with us. Not long ago, we had another student who shared her results. So she got 8 for listening, 9 for reading, 7 for writing, and 8.5 for speaking. And believe me, they all prepared with us, and they didn't prepare for months. They didn't take years to achieve such high scores. They just prepared for 2 months, and they achieved their required score. So that's why, guys, like I said, I'm going to show you how you should prepare effectively. Doesn't matter how you prepare, whether you're preparing by yourself, whether you prepare with a tutor, whether you attend a coaching class. I'm going to show you the proven methods towards achieving a very high score. So that's why first we're going to look into what is IELTS and how it's going to be beneficial. Then we're going to understand the misconceptions about IELTS and make sure that we don't fall for it. Then I'm going to introduce a very important skill, a skill that is useful for listening, for reading, writing, and speaking. Then I'm going to show you how to prepare effectively, irrespective of your level. It doesn't matter whether you have a pre-intermediate level or even upper intermediate level, but what should be the approach to prepare effectively? Then, guys, I'm going to introduce 4 essential skills for listening and reading, and also the essential skills for writing and for speaking. Then, guys, I'm going to show you our IELTS expert course. It's on a special offer. So it's a very effective program. And those who are joining our session today, it's going to be on a special offer. I'll discuss that a bit later. So let's start with what is IELTS. Now, it stands for International English Language Testing System. It is the most popular language test in the world. Over 3.5 million candidates, they take this exam every year, and only 40% they achieve their required score in their first attempt. Now, this does not mean that the exam is very difficult. This does not mean that you need to kind of have some kind of special knowledge related to certain topics. It's all about understanding what is required from you. In fact, if you achieve a band 7 or higher, even a 6.5, you certify that you can use English fluently in a native, professional English-speaking environment. So it has a very deep meaning. So always understand, you take this exam to prove that you can use English fluently in a professional environment. So that's why whatever that you learn will be useful for your professional life, not for your personal life. If you need a reliable language assessment tool, IELTS is the right test for you. And it's very objective. That's why if you take this exam, if you prepare towards achieving a very high score for this exam, believe me, you will improve your English level. So you will improve your fluency. So here are advantages of taking IELTS. So when you prepare for this exam, when it comes to speaking, you will learn how to negotiate in English. So you will develop this skill. If you're taking general IELTS, you will learn how to write business letters. So you will develop the ability to write business letters. If you're taking academic IELTS, you will learn how to analyze data. So it will be useful in order to enter a university or to kind of, if you're planning to do your master's, you will learn certain skills which will be helpful for your academic career. Then, guys, if you prepare effectively, you will learn how to brainstorm in English. And also, guys, if you prepare effectively, you will acquire all the essential skills for listening and for reading. In other words, in listening, you will learn how to understand the general idea. Let's say you attend a seminar, you will learn how to summarize the main points. So that's why, guys, everything that you learn will be useful for sure. So there is no doubt in that. So now let's move on to the next point, the advantages of passing IELTS. So remember, IELTS is accepted by more countries than any other test of English. So if you want more move abroad and need an English language test, IELTS is the only test that is accepted by these English-speaking immigration authorities. You know that. I guess it's not a secret. So if you want to move to Australia, if you want to immigrate to Canada, if you want to immigrate to New Zealand, if you want to immigrate to the United Kingdom, you need to take IELTS. So that's why if you achieve a very good score, it will open doors for you. The second advantage, no other test of English is accepted by more universities, colleges, or academic institutions. Recognized and accepted by 11,000 institutions around the world. This means that whatever you want to study, it's likely IELTS can help you. What we're trying to say here is that it's not only for universities in the UK or in Australia or in Canada, but if you achieve a very good score, you can apply for scholarships, maybe to Germany, maybe to Singapore. So that's why you should always aim for a very good score. I'm not speaking about the highest band score 9, but even a band 7, a 6.5, or maybe a 7.5 can open doors for many opportunities. So please keep that in mind. Then, guys, remember, the third advantage is that effective preparation for IELTS can improve your level of English. So if you prepare for IELTS effectively, you will improve your score in all 4 sections: listening, reading, writing, and speaking. So please keep that in mind. So now, guys, let's try to understand the exam structure. You know, there are 4 sections. We have listening, reading, writing, and speaking. Now, I have a question for you. Based on your experience, based on your opinion, which section is the easiest and which section is the most challenging? Can you tell me which section could be the most challenging and which section could be the easiest? Do you think that you can achieve a band 9 in listening, or maybe it's easy to achieve a band 9 in writing, but it's very difficult to achieve a band 9 in speaking? What's your opinion here? So which section could be the easiest and which section could be the most challenging? Okay. So let's see what you have to say. Do you think that writing is the easiest? Do you think that speaking could be the easiest? Okay, so I see that someone is saying that the easiest is listening and writing is the hardest one. Sarah says it's writing. What about the rest? Okay, so writing is always a challenge for me, always a challenge. Okay, fine. So I see that most of you all believe that writing is the most challenging, and some even believe speaking is the easiest. Now, this reminds me once what Henry Ford said. He says that if you say you can, you're right. If you say you can't, you're right. Now, maybe for some, they might find writing the easiest, and for some, they might find writing the most challenging. It really depends on you. However, based on statistics, I can say that quite often students fail to achieve the required score in writing, or even a very high score in writing. In fact, some even take the exam several times only because they fail to achieve a band 7 or higher in writing. So yes, writing is considered to be the trickiest. In other words, it is the section which is quite challenging to achieve a band 7 or higher. And I agree with what you all said. Listening is considered to be the easiest section or the first section where you can achieve a band 9. So you need to have a strategy. Having said that, guys, sometimes some might find listening difficult. So that's why you need to answer these questions. Number one, how often do you watch movies? How often do you listen to podcasts? And how well do you understand? In other words, can you enjoy a movie in English? Next question is, how often do you read? Do you read almost every day, or do you read regularly? And can you enjoy reading in English? Do you? If you say yes, then that's great. Now, based on our statistics and being a representative of an exam center, what I can say is that those who read a lot, those who enjoy reading in English, they will definitely find IELTS reading much easier than those who don't. And also, they will improve their writing skills much faster. Those who listen to podcasts, those who watch movies in English, in fact, those who play computer games in English, they will find IELTS listening much easier than those who don't. And also, they will improve their speaking skills much faster. So it's a no-brainer. And that's great if you're watching movies every day. That's wonderful. So remember, if you watch movies, you will improve your listening skills and you will find IELTS listening easier. And also you will improve your speaking skills. If you read a lot, you will find IELTS reading much easier than those who don't. And also you will improve your writing skills much faster. Now, guys, let's focus on IELTS listening. Now, remember, it is the first section at the exam. So the listening test is for 30 minutes and you're given 10 minutes extra to transfer the answers from the question booklet to your answer sheet. There are 4 parts and each part has 10 questions. The sections become more difficult with section 4 being the most difficult. The audio is played only once. You will be given time to read the questions before you listen and to check after you listen. So always keep that in mind, okay? So it's the first section. There are 4 sections. Altogether, there are 40 questions. Remember, in order to achieve a band 7, you can make only 10 mistakes. In other words, you need to achieve 30 out of 40 to achieve a band 7. To achieve a band 9, of course, it has to be 40 out of 40. You should not make a single mistake. The tricky part in IELTS listening is that the audio is played only once. They will not play it for the second time. So make sure to apply all the essential skills and strategies to achieve a very high score. So that's why I'm going to show you how to achieve a band 9 in listening. So once again, a no-brainer. Expose yourself to listening. Listen to BBC podcasts and watch documentaries. I wouldn't say watching movies would be the ideal way, but then again, it is good. But still, listen to BBC podcasts and watch documentaries. Then, guys, know how to approach every question type. Now, this is a very important point. Now, I'm going to show you the types of questions you will have in IELTS listening, and you need to know the approach to every question type. Then make sure to do at least 4 practice tests before you take the real exam. And make sure to constantly assess your progress. It's a very important thing. Now, let's say you did a practice test, you made 15 mistakes. You need to understand where you went wrong. Is it section 1? Maybe you made most of the mistakes in section 3. Try to analyze. This way, you'll be able to understand what went wrong and how you should improve. Now, when it comes to IELTS listening, there are 4 essential skills. Now, this is a very important part, my dear students. There are 4 essential skills you need to master. So these are the essential skills: paraphrasing, identifying keywords, predicting the missing words, and identifying distractors. So you need to implement these skills in every question type. Maybe you have to implement all four, maybe all three, maybe two, but always remember, for every question type, you need to implement these skills. Once you master these skills, it's very easy to be accurate answering any question type in IELTS listening. So remember, when it comes to IELTS listening, you will have sentence completion, which is quite common. You will see this type of question in section 1, in section 2, in section 3, or even in section 4. You will have multiple choice questions. Now, this type is pretty common in section 2 and in section 3. Then you have matching questions. This type of question is very common in section 2 and section 3. Then you have to complete a plan, a map, maybe a diagram or a label. Now, quite often you might see this type of question in section 2. Then you need to kind of complete a form in section 1, a note, a table, a flowchart, a summary completion. These types are pretty common in section 4, section 1, or even in section 2. Then we have short answer questions, which is pretty common in section 2, section 3, sometimes in section 1. So you see, you do need to become familiar with the question types. Then you need to implement those skills I've introduced. So remember, paraphrasing, identifying keywords, predicting the missing words, and paying attention to distractors. If you follow this approach, you will definitely achieve a band 9. I can guarantee this, so I'm so sure about it, like the sun rising from the east and setting in the west. So it's like an approach, guys. So that's the proven method. Now, when it comes to Master IELTS Online, how we prepare our students. So first of all, they have access to a very unique, interactive platform. So what we do here is that for listening, every lesson is dedicated to a topic. So as you can see, you see lesson 2, we teach them how to avoid spelling mistakes. We show them how to differentiate numbers, how to identify distractors, writing down numbers while listening. So as you can see, guys, we dedicate every lesson to a skill or to a question type. That's why our students have been very successful when it comes to listening. Anyway, now let's move on to reading. So when it comes to IELTS reading, it's going to be for 60 minutes. Now, remember, the listening part is going to be for half an hour, 30 minutes. If you're taking the paper-based exam, you'll be given 10 minutes extra. But when it comes to reading, it's going to be for 60 minutes, 1 hour. There'll be 3 passages. Always remember, the first will be the easiest, the second will be more complex, and the last will be the most complex. So always remember, the first passage will be the easiest. So you should spend 15 minutes. The second passage becomes more complicated. So spend 20 minutes. The last passage is the most challenging. So make sure to spend 25 minutes. So always remember this formula. 15 minutes on the first passage, 20 minutes on the second passage, and 25 minutes on the third passage. The same goes with general IELTS reading. 15 minutes on the first section, 20 minutes on the second section, 25 minutes on the third section. If you mismanage your time, for example, let's say you spent 25 minutes on the first passage, you will never finish answering all the questions. So that's why, guys, it's very important to manage your time effectively. So please remember that. Now, when it comes to reading, each passage will be about 700 to 900 words long, and each passage would have 6 to 10 paragraphs. And there'll be 40 questions, and for every passage or for every section, there'll be 12 to 14 questions. So remember, my students, you cannot read the whole text word by word and answer questions. You need to implement certain skills because you're not supposed to read the whole text and answer questions. So there is no time to add answers at the end. So unlike listening, they will not give you extra time. So to achieve a band 9, it's a no-brainer. Make reading a daily habit. Become familiar with every question type. Learn the step-by-step approach for every question type. Okay, so make reading a daily habit. Become familiar with every question type. Learn the step-by-step approach for every question type. So when it comes to reading, there are 4 essential skills: skimming, scanning, paraphrasing, and identifying keywords. So these are the essential skills you need to master in order to implement skimming, scanning, paraphrasing, and identifying keywords. So when it comes to reading, there are different types of questions, and you need to know the approach to every question type. So we have matching headings, true, false, not given, yes, no, not given, multiple choice questions, summary completions, short answer questions, sentence completions, and locating information in a paragraph. So you need to know what are the approaches for every question. So you need to know the step-by-step approach to every question type. It's very important. If you don't know, if your teacher hasn't taught you yet, if you're, like, for example, maybe you're attending an online program, and if they haven't taught you the approach to every question type, I'm sorry to say, you will not achieve a very high score. You might find reading very challenging. So that's very important, guys. So as you can see, both for listening and for reading, we need to implement paraphrasing. We need to master this skill. So that's why it's a very important skill, not only for listening and reading, it's also important for writing and speaking. So let's try to understand what is paraphrasing, and let's try to do some interactive task. So what is paraphrasing? Paraphrasing means expressing the same meaning in a different way. This is done by replacing certain words with synonyms or by changing the word form and changing the structure of a sentence. So here are a few examples. Look at the first example. The new iPhone 15 will be released in September. We can say the launch of the new iPhone 15 will be in September. So what have we done here? We have replaced release with launch, and we have used the noun form and changed the word order. Like the launch of the new iPhone 15 will be in September. The launch of the new iPhone 15 will be in September. So based on this, guys, let's try to do task. Now, the first way of paraphrasing is to convert the word form, noun to its verb form, adjective to its adverb form, right? Or guys, for example, we can replace words with synonyms. So now let's try to change the word form, noun to its verb form, adjective to its adverb, or the other way around. Look at the first example. Yanni was the composer of Winds of Orchids. So what is the verb form of composer? What should be the answer here, my dear students? Yanni was the composer of Winds of Orchids. Composer. So what should be the answer for the first sentence? What is the missing word here? So composer is the noun form. Yanni, Winds of Orchids. Just imagine, right? And it was in the past. Well done. Composed. So Yanni composed Winds of Orchids. Very good. Very good. I see that everyone is involved here. Yanni composed Winds of Orchids. Well done. Look at the next one. She performed really well at the concert. She performed really well at the concert. Performed. Now, that's the verb form. Now, look at the second sentence. It says, she gave an excellent. So the missing word is a noun. So what is the noun form of to perform? And what should be the answer here? She gave an excellent at the concert. She gave an excellent. The missing word is a noun. So we need the noun form of perform. Easy. Well done. It's a no-brainer. Performance. She gave an excellent performance at the concert. Very good. She gave an excellent performance at the concert. Now, this is how, guys, it works. So let's move on to the next one. Like Sarah and her friend had creative differences. Sarah and her friend differed. You see, because difference is the noun form, the verb form is differ. It was in the past. So we can say Sarah and her friend differed creatively. So well done, those who got the answers correct. Wonderful. Now, that's the first way of paraphrasing. One of the ways we can change the word form. Instead of repeating the same every word, we can just change the word form and we can change the word order because of that. Then the next way of paraphrasing is to replace certain words with synonyms, which we love. So look at the example here. Technology plays an important role in the education sector. Guys, can you give me synonyms for important? Technology plays an important role in the education sector. Can you think about synonyms for important? Technology plays an important role in the education sector. What words can be used instead of important? Well done. I see vital. Yes, vital. Is that the only option? We can even think about other options as well. What else? There are more. Essential. Well done. Very good. So vital, essential. Lovely. What else? Anything else? Is that all? I'm sure you guys can push yourself. Yes. But do you see, we can think about crucial, pivotal, significant, vital, main role, depending on the context, right? Or we can even use the word instrumental, like John plays, technology plays an instrumental role, You see, so you can come up with more than one option. That's why this skill is important in paraphrasing. So always remember, even in IELTS listening, when you read a question, if you come across adjectives and adverbs, underline them. Because when you listen, you might hear synonyms. For example, who played the most important role in the company? When you listen, they might say, John's role was significant for the company. John's role was significant. It will always happen, guys. So that's why both for listening and for reading, when you come across questions or statements, read them carefully and see if there are adjectives and adverbs. If you see there are adjectives and adverbs, underline them and be prepared to hear or to listen. Or when you're doing the listening part, you might hear synonyms, so be prepared for that. And when you read, look for synonyms because it will be there for sure. Then let's try the another task where we have to replace words with synonyms. So look here, it says replace the bold words with synonyms. Guys, look at the first one. Smoking is bad for health. Can you give me synonyms for bad based on this context? Smoking is bad for health. Harmful, injurious, not precisely, but harmful, or can have Okay, well done. Harmful. What else? Anything else? So we can say detrimental or destructive. It is a big problem. It is a, well done. It is a big problem. Guys, can you think about synonyms for problem? Or what phrase can be used instead of big problem? What phrase can be used instead of big problem? Like it is a big problem. Now, the word problem is very common. So that's why instead of using problem, now not good is very common. So I would advise you not to use that. So big, huge. Big, yes, huge. But what about problem? What synonyms can you think of instead of problem? Any wild guesses? Fine, fine. So guys, you see, smoking is bad. We can say smoking is harmful, detrimental for health. It is a big problem. We can say major concern, serious issue. What a massive issue, so well done, or serious issue. We must save, we can say we must protect, preserve the environment. Children need, we can say children require more attention from their parents. Children need, children require. So we must save, we must protect, preserve the environment. Now, always remember, you should have a strategy if you want to impress the examiner. So even for IELTS speaking, to show the examiner that you can use a wide range of vocabulary, first try to expand your lexical resources based on adjectives and adverbs, because it's always easy. Then the verb, and only then you should focus on the noun. Now, another way of paraphrasing, right, not to repeat the same way, is to change the word order. And one of the ways to do that is to use the passive voice. Now, remember, we use the passive voice when we don't want to focus on who is doing the action, but on who is receiving or experiencing the action. Look at number one. The government should take immediate measures. Immediate measures should be taken by the government. Parents should teach children foreign languages at an early stage. Foreign languages should be taught to children at an early stage. What have we done here? We have changed the word order and we try to emphasize on the action. Like immediate measures should be taken by the government. Foreign languages should be taught to children at an early stage. So it doesn't matter who should do it. We just try to focus on the action. That's why we use the passive voice. So guys, now we're going to do a bit of reading, and I'm going to show you why paraphrasing is so crucial in IELTS, and especially in listening and reading, right? So we're going to do a bit of reading, and we're going to focus on true, false, not given. So I hope you guys are ready. I hope you guys are ready for the challenge. If you are, what are we waiting for? Let's start then, okay? So whenever you see this type of question, the instruction would look the following, like, do the following statements agree with the information given in the text below in boxes 1 to 6 on your answer sheet? Write true if the statement agrees with the information, false if the statement contradicts the information, not given if there is no information on this, okay? So true, guys, if the statement is supporting the information you find from the text. False if the statement is contradicting. If you can't find any information based on the statement, it's not given. Now, please, let's do this together. Follow my instructions. Don't read the paragraph first, read the statement. Look, it says, you can work through parts of a course more than once. You can work through parts of a course more than once. First, underline keywords. I would underline work through parts of course more than once. Work through parts of a course more than once. I would underline that. Then guys, try to understand the statement better. Work through parts of a course more than once. That means we can repeat a section of a course more than once. That means I can repeat a section of a course several times. Can you read the first 3 lines, my dear students? Can you read the first 3 lines and tell me whether this statement is true, false, or not given? See whether we can repeat a section of a course more than once. Is it true, false, or not given? Is this statement true? Okay, now I see the answer is coming. You shouldn't take much time. Just read the first 3 lines and see whether this statement is true, false, or not given. Well done. Well done. Very good. So everyone is saying that it's true, and it is. Look, once again, the statement says you can work through parts of a course more than once. And if you read the first 3 lines, I have highlighted the second sentence. All our courses are taken online using a computer. So you can work through the course at your own speed and go back to any session whenever you want to. Go back to any session whenever you want to. That means we can repeat a section of the course more than once, right? You see paraphrasing here, right? The importance of paraphrasing. They didn't say the same thing. They will never say. So that's why paraphrasing is a very important part in IELTS. That's why we call the IELTS exam as the paraphrasing exam. Fine. Let's do the next one. Number 2. The number of courses offered by Learn With Us has increased enormously. I will underline number of courses increased enormously. That means they have increased the number of courses they provide significantly. So you should look at this point like a significant increase, a dramatic increase. See the numbers, like first they used to provide 10 courses. Now they provide 500 courses. Do you see this information, my dear students? Is this statement true? Or is it contradictory? Or maybe it's not given? Now read further. We need to see whether they have increased it significantly or dramatically. Now, that's where you should focus on. Okay. Always make an effort to answer. That's very important. Well done. Okay. I see the answers coming, and I must say that I'm delighted to see that you guys got the point. You guys got the point. So the answer is not given. Not given. Why? There is no such information, right? Because they say, we offer, now I'm going to read the first, second, third, fourth, the 5th line. I'm going to read the 5th line. It says, we offer hundreds of courses in a whole range of subjects, from reading, writing, and maths to business and management. Many of these are specially designed for people whose first language isn't English, right? So nothing about a dramatic increase. They don't mention like we used to provide 100 courses, but now we provide 1,000 courses. You don't see such information here. So that's why the statement is not given. So bravo, well done, wonderful. Now, guys, let's focus on IELTS writing, okay? So remember, soon after reading, you have writing. So the IELTS writing test lasts for 60 minutes, and you will need to complete 2 writing tasks. In task 1, you're given tasks based on graphs and processes for academic IELTS. Those who are taking general IELTS, you will have to write letter in task 1. So you have to write a letter, and for academic IELTS, you need to describe graphs, bar charts, and pie charts. The word count should be of at least 150 words for task 1. For task 2, it should be not less than 250 words. So please keep that in mind. So you need to know that soon after reading, you need to take writing. So that's why writing becomes even more challenging, because, it's a bit exhausting, right? Because first you spend 40 minutes for listening, then 60 minutes for reading, and there is no break. Soon after that, you need to start with writing. So that's why it's very important to experience this before you take the real exam. That's why it's so important to take the mock exam before you take the real exam. Now, in our IELTS expert course, we have this option. So if you join our IELTS expert course, not only we teach you all the essential skills, but also we give you the opportunity to experience that beforehand, to experience that pressure, how you manage your time. So it's very important. So remember, guys, the expert course is on a special offer. Please click to see what the expert course is about. And also, you will have a free consultation. So make sure to leave your details, your contact details, and our IELTS consultant would get in touch with you and explain further. And remember, guys, we are the only center where we prepare students to approach every question type in reading. So I just showed you what the approach should be for for true, false, not given. But we will teach you the approach to every question type in IELTS reading and also in IELTS listening. So coming back to IELTS writing, guys, I'm going to show you what you should do to achieve a 7+. So it's a no-brainer. You need to know, first of all, how the examiner is going to assess your writing. Now, when it comes to IELTS writing, there are 4 criteria. We have task response, coherence and cohesion, vocabulary, and grammar. So you need to make sure to perform equally well in all 4 criteria. And always make sure that you understand. Now, let's say you wrote an essay, you achieved a band 6. You need to understand what went wrong or in which criterion you perform the worst. Maybe you need to really focus on certain criteria, and that's why feedback is important. So make sure that your teacher, your tutor provides feedback based on the marking criteria. Maybe they might say, like, Sean, you perform really well with coherence and cohesion. It's a band 8, but your use of vocabulary is horrible. I'm sorry, it's poor. So it's very important that you focus on this, and the teacher should show examples. So that's why in our IELTS expert course, we check 16 essays. Not only that, these essays are checked by ex-examiners. So we have a wonderful team, and I'm going to show my team a bit later. So we will provide feedback based on the marking criteria, which will be very helpful. So guys, I'm going to show you what you should do for every criterion now. So for task response, make sure to write the specified number of words. So if it's task 1, make sure to write not less than 150 words. For task 2, make sure to write not less than 250 words. Always make sure to follow an academic style of writing. So it's very important. Understand the question correctly and cover all the points. So quite often, students achieve a low score in this criterion because they fail to develop their ideas. They don't give examples. They don't give proper reasons for their points. So it's a very important part. When it comes to coherence and cohesion, it's a no-brainer. You need to use paragraphs appropriately. You need to use linking devices, arrange your ideas logically, support all ideas with relevant examples, and draw a relevant conclusion. So there should be 4 paragraphs. If you're writing a task to essay, there should be an introduction, 2 supporting paragraphs, and a conclusion. And every paragraph should have a clear argument. So there should be a clear topic sentence, and the whole paragraph should reflect that topic sentence. And also make sure to use linkers to have a proper flow. Now, if you understand this, guys, it's very easy to achieve a very good score for writing. I'm speaking about not even 6.5. I'm referring to a band 7.5 and so on. When it comes to lexical resources, make sure to use less common words. So instead of saying good, use like, fantastic, excellent. Now, instead of saying small, use words like, minuscule. So try to use uncommon words. You need to kind of really expand your vocabulary. Use topical vocabulary. Use words related to the topic. Avoid repetition of words. That's very important. And when we say don't repeat words, don't repeat the same adjective. It doesn't mean that you should not repeat the subject, because you have to, but don't repeat the same adjective like important. Today we learned, right? Crucial, significant. So always show variety and make sure not to make spelling mistakes. So based on this, now let's try to look at grammar. So we kind of understood you need to use a variety of sentence structures, minimize mistakes with grammar. So that's why, guys, quite often students go wrong with their structure. So it's very important to understand the structure for every essay type. Make sure to develop your ideas, follow a formal style, because quite often students make mistakes. They follow an informal style, and also they make a lot of mistakes with grammar. So now, guys, I'm going to show you 2 paragraphs based on what I mentioned. Can you read these 2 paragraphs and tell me which paragraph is better? Which paragraph looks like a band 7 and higher? And which paragraph is poorly structured? When you read these 2 paragraphs, which one is like logically structured and which paragraph is poorly structured? I've already told you that a paragraph should have a clear topic sentence, and the whole paragraph should reflect that topic sentence. You need to use linkers effectively or skillfully. So if you read these 2 paragraphs, which paragraph is structured properly with a clear argument? Examiners always say a paragraph with a clear progression. Okay. Read carefully. I already see an answer here. So yes, it's a no-brainer. It's A. It's A. I'll read it for you now. The obvious reason for a stressful working atmosphere nowadays is the increasing level of competitiveness among employees. Consequently, this leads to a hostile atmosphere in the working environment. The best solution for this is for employees to create team activities. For instance, it is known that many international companies organize tasks focusing on teams, which have made the employees perform effectively in a relaxed atmosphere. So do you see, guys, do you see how skillfully the writer has used linkers, right? First, the reason for a stressful atmosphere, then the outcome, then the solution, then an example, then the positive outcome. Look B. Working atmosphere becomes stressful because people have too much to do. I think the work should be limited. Already the solution, right? Doesn't develop the first point, already the solution. Then it is the employee's responsibility to do so. If not, employees will leave. Another problem is that employees don't know how to manage their time. My friend, you see, it is not well connected. Now, that's why the second paragraph is going to be like a band 6, and the first paragraph is going to be like a band 8, 9. So like it's well structured. So that's what you need to focus on. If you understand this, then it's going to be very easy to achieve a very high score. Now, here we have another paragraph, and it's well structured about public transport. Like public transport has a number of advantages. Firstly, it is the most economical option to travel around a city. For instance, in Moscow, the monthly subway ticket costs 10 times cheaper than maintaining a private vehicle. Moreover, public transport can be convenient, especially during peak hours. This could be illustrated by the increasing tendency to use the subway during office hours. Therefore, the role of public transport will always be significant. So do you see, it's very important to use linkers and structure your paragraph. So that's something that you need to know, and that's how you will work your way towards achieving a very high score. Now, when it comes to IELTS speaking, remember, the speaking part usually lasts for 11 to 14 minutes. There are 3 sections. Part 1, questions about yourself. Part 2 is a monologue. So you'll be given 1 minute to prepare, and you need to speak for 2 minutes. And part 3, questions based on general issues where you have to give your opinion, analyze, or predict. So it's very important to understand that there are 3 parts. Part 1 is all about you. Part 2 is a monologue. So you have to speak for 2 minutes based on the question they give you, and you'll be given a minute to prepare. And part 3, questions based on general issues, where the examiner would ask you to compare 2 different things, 2 different periods, maybe a trend. The examiner would ask you to give your opinion. So that's pretty clear as well. So guys, what we're going to do is we're going to actually understand now what we should do to achieve a 7+ for IELTS speaking. So like writing, it's pretty straightforward. Even for speaking, you need to understand how the examiner is going to assess you. So there are 4 criteria. We have fluency and coherence, pronunciation, grammar, and vocabulary. So for fluency and coherence, you need to develop your answers logically. You need to avoid hesitations and restarts of sentences. You need to use transitions and linking words correctly, and you need to speak at a good speed. So remember that. You need to maintain a very good speed. You need to use linkers. You need to minimize your hesitation, like, so you should not pause too often. And you need to develop your answers logically. So look at the model answer here. What do you like about your job? Well, there are a number of things that I appreciate about my job. Firstly, it's the working environment. We have a very organized structure, and all of us work as a team, which is very important for me. On top of that, there is a lot of job satisfaction. In other words, it's always pleasing to see your customers satisfied with your work. Now, do you see the progression here, my dear students? Like, firstly, it's the working environment, and explain. Then on top of that, there is a lot of job satisfaction, and explain what do you mean by that. In other words, it's always pleasing to see your customers satisfied with your work. Here we have another example, like, what do you like about your university? Now, if you say, I love my teachers, I love the way we are taught, I love my batchmates, you can't achieve a band 7 or higher. It's going to be like a 4.55, limited. No complex structures, no linkers. So here we have a very good model answer. What do you like about your university? Honestly, I feel privileged to study at my university because I'm satisfied with almost everything. Firstly, I admire our lecturers. They are so committed and always willing to help us. On top of that, I'm happy with the quality of education. In fact, my university is well known for the my university is well known for the teaching standards. And finally, I shouldn't forget to mention the overall atmosphere. There is a lot of positive energy around, which is motivating. So do you see, when I speak about progression, you need to logically develop your ideas. Let me give you a small tip. Whenever you see what questions, try to think about 2 or 3 points. Now, for example, What do you like about your city? Now try to think about 2 or 3 things that you like about your city. Maybe the city has a beautiful architecture. Maybe the city is really green. There are many parks and gardens. Maybe the city has a very nice public transport system. Now think about 3 things. Then sequence, like what you love the most. Maybe the city is very green. There are many parks and gardens, and that's really nice because you love to go for a walk. The second point is a very nice public transport system. So, you have a nice subway system, like, a nice bus route. So think about it. This way, guys, it's easy to develop and then to use linkers logically. So when it comes to pronunciation, you need to pronounce words properly. So can you tell me what's the difference between desert and dessert? The first one is pronounced as desert. The second one is pronounced as dessert. What's the difference? Can you tell me? So you pronounce this word expertise. It's never expertise, only when it's a verb. Informative. So can you tell me what's the difference between desert and dessert? Desert and dessert. Number 2. Any guesses, guys? So remember, desert is the Sahara Desert, like a dry land with a lot of sand. That's pronounced as desert, D-E-S-E-R-T. Dessert is what we eat, right? Maybe it could be a pudding, a pie. That's pronounced as, well done, very good. So desert is an area like the Sahara Desert. Dessert is like, something sweet, maybe a pudding, maybe an apple pie, which we call it as a dessert. So do you see that it's very important to pronounce words properly? Because at the exam, if you say, I love to eat dessert, the examiner might see like, what's that? So that's why you need to know how to pronounce words properly. Number 2, learn how to chunk. Look at the example here. I love my job. So after there is a comma, so you need to make a short pause. In English, native speakers, they would make natural pauses. In other words, they will break the sentence in order to create more clarity. Like, I love my job. Look at the third point, vary your intonation. Look at the example. Ever since I finished high school, I haven't met with my batchmates. What you see here is a complex structure. So whenever there is a complex structure, you need to kind of vary your intonation. You need to vary your tone. Since the dependent clause comes first, we need to have an ascending tone. Like, ever since I finished high school, I haven't met with my batchmates. Ever since I finished high school, ascending tone, I haven't met with my batchmates, descending tone. So for example, if I work hard, I would become successful. It's just an example. If I work hard, you see ascending, I would become successful. So you need to kind of pay attention to these things as well. If you do, I'm pretty sure you can work your way towards achieving a very high score. Now, when it comes to vocabulary, you need to use uncommon words. You need to use spoken language. Spoken language means words which would make you sound more natural, like, well, actually, frankly speaking. So in IELTS speaking, it's a very good idea to use such words and phrases. Then try to paraphrase. Do not become a robot. Don't repeat all the words from the examiner's question. If the examiner asks, do you like sports? Don't say, yes, I like sports. How often do you go to the cinema? I go to the cinema very often. Don't speak like that. That will not increase your score. That will not impress the examiner. And also make sure to use the correct word form. Look at the question here. Do you like sports? I do. I've always been a huge fan of sports. To be more precise, I'm crazy about football because I just love experiencing tense moments. Do you like sports? I do. I've always been a huge fan of sports. To be more precise, I'm crazy about football because I just love experiencing tense moments. If you look at this model answer, the candidate has used different expressions instead of like I'm a huge fan, I'm crazy, I love. So that's why it's a very good answer. He has used expressions related to like. So you need to kind of develop your answer using words related to the topic, and also make sure not to repeat every word from the question. Now, for example, I respect my father. We can say, I look up to my father. A beautiful view, a picturesque view. Now, I respect my father because he has sacrificed so much for us. Or I can say, I look up to my father because he has sacrificed so much for us. Now, to remember this expression, look up, which means to respect or to admire. Now, you think about your own examples, guys. This way, it will be easier. So tell me a person that you respect. Who do you look up to and why? This way, you'll remember it. Now, guys, in order to achieve a good score in grammar for this criterion, you need to minimize grammar mistakes, and you need to use a variety of sentence structures. So you need to use simple sentences, compound sentences, and complex sentences. Even to achieve a band 6, you need to use complex structures. You can make mistakes, but it's very important to use complex structures. So that's why when it comes to IELTS speaking, when you improve your speaking skills, in order to improve your speaking skills, you need to focus on the marking criteria. You need to understand how the examiner is going to assess you, and make sure that your teacher provides feedback based on the marking criteria. Make sure your teacher doesn't provide feedback like, wow, I like your answer. Wow, I love the way you speak. I love the vocabulary. So that's why it's a 7. That's too subjective. The feedback should be objective. So every time when the trainer provides feedback, it should be based on the marking criteria. It's a very important part. Look at the question here. Do you like to read? I do. I enjoy reading because it helps me to unwind myself. Or I've always enjoyed reading because it helps me to unwind myself. Or yes, I like to read. Or well, reading has always been my passion since it helps me to unwind myself. Now, there are 4 options here. Can you tell me the best option based on what I've explained, using uncommon words, using complex structures, not repeating words from the question? If you look at these options, can you tell me the best option here? Which is the best option given here? Is it number 1, number 2, number 3, or number 4? Is it the first one, the second one, the third one, or the fourth one? Great, a no-brainer. A no-brainer. It's the fourth one. Well, reading has always been my passion. Look, he's using present perfect. Reading has always been my passion since it helps me to unwind myself. And also he uses a complex structure. He uses spoken words like, well, reading has always been my passion since it helps me to unwind myself. Number 2 is also not a bad option. But well done. Very good. So that's what is important. So always remember, to achieve a 7+ in IELTS speaking, you need to give longer answers. You need to use words related to the topic. You need to use idiomatic expressions. You need to use a wide range of sentence structures with flexibility. You need to minimize hesitation, and you need to sequence your ideas and use linkers effectively. So that's the goal. So you need to see whether you're able to give longer answers, whether you're able to use topic-related vocabulary, whether you're able to use idiomatic expressions, whether you're able to use a wide range of sentence structures with flexibility, minimize your hesitation, and sequence your ideas and use linkers effectively. If you can do that, then you can achieve a very high score. That's all. So guys, misconceptions about IELTS, right? Because that's very important before we end our lesson today. Here are a few misconceptions. Number 1, it is very difficult. Like IELTS is a very difficult exam. It's not true. If you follow an effective method, a step-by-step approach, you can achieve a high score in your first attempt. So it's a very important part. It's not difficult. Quite often it becomes frustrating because candidates or students, they get misguided. Misconception number 2, you need to be extremely fluent to achieve a band 7 and higher. It's not true. Research has shown that not all who speak fluently achieve a high score in IELTS. Misconception number 3, you need to prepare for more than 1 year to prepare successfully. It's also not true. We've had students who achieved 7+ in their first attempt in 2 to 3 months. They had a pre-intermediate, intermediate level. Now I'm going to show you some of our students, like Olga. She achieved 7.5 with a pre-intermediate level, guys, with a pre-intermediate level in 3 months. So she had proper guidance and she achieved her required score. We had another student within 3 months, she achieved an overall 8. She had an intermediate level. I want to introduce Mr. Sergey, who achieved a band 8 in 2 months, but he had an upper intermediate level. So it's very important that you assess your current level. So that's why leave your entry, guys. Click the link below. Get a free consultation from our experts. They will tell you where you stand, what's your current level. So leave your entry because that will be important so that we can understand whether the preparation is going to be effective. Now, to achieve a 7+, remember, there are 4 steps you should follow. Step 1, learn your essential skills. So first, you need to understand the essential skills. You can't start with practice tests immediately. First, you need to acquire all the essential skills. Then start doing practice tasks. Become confident with these skills. That's very important. So try to become confident with skills by doing practice tasks. What do I mean by that? First, let's focus on reading, okay? So first, try to understand the approach for matching headings in reading. Then do simpler tasks. Once you become familiar, focus on exam practice and then assess your progress and see where you should improve. This is the most important part. So that's why I want to introduce our IELTS Expert course. It is a revolutionary program where we continue to provide fantastic results with our students. So we conduct weekly online speaking workshops. So these lessons are conducted through Zoom with our examiners. I'm going to show my team. Stay till the end because we have a fantastic team. So we will have weekly online speaking workshops, live sessions with me. So I conduct listening and reading every week. I will teach you essential skills. And once a week, you will also have writing lessons. Now, these writing lessons are conducted by me or sometimes by our academic director, Olga. And she's a fantastic teacher. Students, they love her. So you will also have lessons with her every week. And then, guys, you will have daily interactive tasks on our platform. So you can either prepare every day, or you can kind of, for example, let's say, dedicate some time during the weekends to study on the platform, because it's very important that you complete all the tasks on the platform, because over there, you learn the approach to every question type. And when you join my webinars, my live sessions, it becomes more effective. So guys, it's on a special offer. I know how expensive courses are today. Not long ago, I was in Tashkent in Uzbekistan. I was in Dubai. Doesn't matter where you are from, everywhere, preparation is quite expensive. Maybe the monthly cost is not that high, but if you look at the total cost, it becomes really expensive. For what we offer, and today it's on a special discount, you're going to have unlimited access for 6 months to our platform. You're going to prepare with a team of experts, and it's going to be for 2 months. So the preparation is going to be for 2 months, and you will have special focus on writing and speaking, and we guarantee your score. We guarantee. So in case you don't achieve your score, we will continue to support you for free until you achieve your required score. So that's why we stand out. No one will give this kind of guarantee. And I'm going to show you what we're going to teach. For listening, guys, you're going to have weekly sessions with me. There'll be 12 units of IELTS listening with interactive lessons on our platform. And the best part, and I guarantee only a few would do that, we're going to teach you step by step how to approach every question type. And at the end, you're going to have 5 complete practice test, 5 to 7, depending on the program. So you're going to have complete practice test and you'll be analyzing your progress. When it comes to reading, you will have weekly webinars or live sessions with me. Then you're going to have 12 units of IELTS reading on our platform with interactive sessions. Then we're going to teach you the step-by-step approach to every question type, matching headings, true, false, not given, multiple choice questions, how to answer short answer questions, how to complete a summary, how to find information or locate information from the passage. So it's very unique. Then we will divide you into groups if you're taking academic and general. So for general, we will teach you separately, and also on the platform for generals, they will have separate tasks. And then at the end, you will have practice tests. You will have practice tests. Now, when it comes to writing, we've done so much. You will have weekly lessons. There'll be 14 lessons on the platform. Every week, you're going to have live sessions, and we will teach you the structure for opinion essays, discussion essays, problem solution essays, then 2-question essays. If you're taking academic IELTS, we will teach you how to describe graphs, bar charts, pie charts, maps, processes. And then, guys, you will have over 100 model answers on our platform, 100 Band 9 model answers, which will be very effective. And I guarantee by the end of the program, you will learn 400 words related to 12 common topics. And we will teach you separately how to describe graphs if you're taking academic IELTS. If you're taking general IELTS, we will teach you separately how to write letters. And during the program, there'll be 12 essays checked, but overall, we will check 16 essays. And if we see that you need more attention, we will keep on checking more essays if it's needed, if it's required. And the most important part, we will check your essays and provide feedback based on the marking criteria. So we will not just say like it's a 7. We will say why it's a 7 and in which criterion you achieve the highest score and the criterion that you should focus more. So that's why the preparation becomes very effective. And when it comes to speaking, guys, you're going to have speaking lessons, not mass classes. I was in a country I don't want to mention specifically. I was shocked to see that the lessons are conducted in group mass classes, not group mass classes. In every classroom, there were like 25 to 30 students. So how can the teacher assess a student's progress? How can a teacher provide feedback based on the marking criteria? We don't do that. Irrespective of the program, every week you're going to have speaking lessons. Each lesson, we'll have 9 students in a group, and the trainer, our ex-examiner, would have enough time to focus on every student and provide feedback based on the marking criteria. It's going to be very interactive. You'll be learning new words, and the examiner is going to ask a question, and we'll see whether you're answering according to the marking criteria. So that's why it's very effective. You'll have 16 lessons on our platform, and you will have a personal tutor who'll be checking your speaking answers, and over 50 Band 9 model answers are there, and up to 6 complete practice tasks is also there. So guys, our courses are very effective because you'll have a step-by-step guidance teaching all the essential skills for listening and reading. You will learn and revise grammar, which is crucial for speaking and writing. 400 uncommon words will be taught, sufficient speaking practice, and it's going to be overall very effective. So compared to other courses, we check more essays, mini groups for speaking. We follow an APIA method, which I've already introduced, an individual tutor to assist you right throughout, and speaking lessons with ex-examiners. So all these things are provided for a very affordable rate. The price is already mentioned, and this is how our platform looks. So the platform looks very interactive. As you can see, you have listening, reading, writing, and also we have a grammar course in the platform, speaking workshop, and weekly live sessions. So you'll watch videos and you'll be doing interactive tasks as well. So advantage of online preparation, my dear students, you will not miss a single lesson. In case you miss, we will compensate it for you. You can save a lot of time and money, and you can study at your own convenience. And it is, believe me, comparatively effective. So the IELTS Expert course is on a special offer today. You're going to have unlimited access to our platform. You'll be preparing with examiners and certified trainers, and special focus on speaking and writing, and we guarantee your score. And not long ago, one of my students, I'm proud to say, achieved a 7.5 for writing. So I trained him, we checked his essays. So he wrote to me in person. And as you can see, his name is Atune. I don't know, he goes as Atune Bright. He's from Dubai, but he's from Nigeria. A very smart student, prepared with me for 5 weeks and achieved a 7.5 for writing. And I'm really proud. I'm so proud. He was a hardworking student. And as you can see, he took the exam on the 25th of March. I think he mentioned 25th. I guess it's on the 25th, 7.5 for writing. So, my dear students, if you're aiming for a very high score, if you believe that IELTS would open doors for new opportunities, if you want to make a dramatic change in your life, if you think that we can be helpful, join us. And I'm pretty sure you can achieve a very high score together with us. So, do you have questions, guys? If you have questions about IELTS, if you have questions related to a particular section, if you have questions related to the IELTS Expert course, please, you can raise your questions. Or guys, if you're interested in the IELTS Expert course, if you want to know more, leave your entry, and our IELTS consultants will contact you. So I would like to introduce our team. First, I would like to introduce Olga, who is actually our academic director. She's a CELTA certified, and she specialized in writing. Diana is actually also CELTA certified. She specialized in speaking and in writing. Barry Ray, we call Barry. So he's a TEFL certified all the way from the USA. He'll be conducting speaking workshops. He's specialized in speaking. Then we have Alexander from the United Kingdom. He's a CELTA certified trainer. He is specialized in speaking and writing. Then we have Mr. Alex, we also call him as Mr. Cool, a very cool and composed teacher, and he specializes in speaking and also in listening and reading. He's a TEFL certified teacher. Then we have Yana, who will be working with you on our platform. She'll be, she's also CELTA certified, and sometimes she might conduct the listening and reading session. So she's specialized in listening and reading. So that's our team, guys. So the IELTS Expert course is on a special offer. I have a question here. I joined the class lately. Can I get if you joined lately, we try to see whether we can provide the recordings a bit later for sure. Fine. Any more questions, guys? So guys, we're starting our lessons next week. So we have 2 groups. We either have lessons Monday, Wednesday, Friday. The time is mentioned here, or Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday. So depending on the region, depending on your convenience, you can join. So we're going to start our our first lesson next Wednesday. Next Wednesday will be on first group, Group A. And if you're joining Group B, the first lesson will be next Thursday. So choose your time. So if you join the Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday group, the speaking sessions will be on Saturdays. So the speaking lessons will be on Saturdays. Any more questions, guys, about IELTS? Maybe you have questions related to the computer-based, paper-based format or anything like that. If you have questions, we'll be more than happy to answer. Okay, guys, so no questions. I wish you guys all the very best. If you don't have questions, and if you join us, I'll be looking forward to teaching you very soon. So until then, guys, have a great evening where you are, and I wish you only the highest score in IELTS. So until then, it's goodbye for now. Thank you for your time. Take care. Bye-bye.